Ilan Tanga has given the horse number 8, Lion Kennedy, number 9, Paul O'Connor. The half-forward line, number 10, William Carter, number 11, Mark Gilly, number 12, Declan Lockman. And the fourth forward, Alonso Field, number 3, from the 13, Kieran Hadley, number 14, Captain Peter Roddy, and number 15, Aidan Valley. Number 17, Paul Traynor, will line out in place of number 4, Donald Skinner. 17 for 4 on the throw side. Therefore, Graham Buchan will line out as follows. In goal, Damien McKenna. Full-back line, number 2, Adrian Sherry. Number 3, Paddy Kelly. And number 17, Paul Traynor. The half-back line will include number 5, Sean Traynor, number 6, Brendan McKenna, and number 7, the captain, Dermot McKenna. Ilan Tanga will hook number 8, Trevor Kelly, number 9, Kieran Seeley. The half-forward line, number 10, Noel Serkin, number 11, Colin Kelly, and number 12, Kevin Traynor. The full-forward line will also be the 3-year Mark Truagh, number 14, Gary Meehan, and number 15, Martin Oates. The one change on both teams in each of the 2 teams lining out in today's final are all the names.
A great start by Castleblayney. It was the start they were going to look for. Castleblayney 1 point. Truagh have yet to score. We have just over 1 minute played in the first half. We were looking at the Truagh line-out. We had midfield Trevor Kelly and Kieran Feely, but Gary Meehan now out in centre field, and Padraig Traynor in fact is on the Truagh team. That was a very, very late change. Padraig Traynor is lined out at full forward, and we'll pick up on who was left out there in a moment. It looks as if it might have been Mark Coonahan, but we'll pick up on that one. Well, Mark Coonahan is playing, but Truagh in possession, driving forward on the 20-metre line on the 14. The ball knocked away from him, and it's in there. It's Emmett Brennan now racing out to pick that one up, and he fists it out, but well intercepted by the true centre-back Brendan McKenna, and he gets that one into the corner forward, Martin Owens, and Martin Owens kicks left-footed. But that's just outside the right-hand post and wide, and that's a spirited response by Declan to a good start by Castleblayney.
Yeah, they got the ball in early, Park trainer won it, and Noel Clarkin through the centre. He's very unlucky maybe not to get a free there, but it's a good start.
It certainly is a good start by them, and they need to do that if they're going to capitalise on this. A bit of broken play in midfield. Declan Lochman out there winning that one for Castleblayney, holding it up. There's a Castleblayney man down, a knock on the ankle, it would appear. It seems to be a leg injury, and David Funchion, the first aid man, in to see if he's okay. The ball over on the far side. Ray McArdle pumps a nice little one forward down the line to Peter Duffy. Duffy outside the Truagh 45, toe to hand. He's past one man. He's racing towards the Truagh goal. 20 metres, 13 metres. He's pulled down, free in. Free in for the Truagh men, and that looks as if it may be the first yellow card of the county final. Pat McEnany with the notebook out. But Peter Duffy certainly, the blistering pace there, and that is a yellow card, and it looks as if it's the Truagh full-back, Paddy Kelly, actually, who picked up that first yellow card. It is in fact Paddy Kelly, yes, the full-back, and Pat McEnany going in to speak to one of his umpires, but the umpire says no, everything is okay. Peter Duffy on the ground. It's a free to the Blaney men, and it's going to be taken by, it looks as if it's going to be taken by Kieran Tavey, the corner forward, and Duffy's pace really unsettling the Truagh defence there, and Kieran Tavey kicks that one over the bar. A point, Kieran Tavey from the free. Foul on Peter Duffy. 2 points to Castleblayney. Truagh yet to score, and we have just 4 minutes on the stopwatch in the ACC Bank Senior Football Championship final for the year 2000. Castleblayney, of course, also trying to put 3 in a row. They won the championship in Monaghan 1998 and 1999. So reigning champions. Pete McMahon and Dominic Corrigan out there along the line. Ball loose in midfield. Truagh pick it up. Well played out, and it's Brendan McKenna driving it forward. But not held in there, held now at the second attempt by Mark Coonahan. Gets it into Martin Owens. Owens lofts one into the Castleblayney goalmouth, but held in there safely. Experience there. The defender passing it back to Declan Flanagan, and then the little pass out from Flanagan to Declan Lochman. Lochman to Dermot Duffy. And Duffy back to Lochman, and the clearance down this side. Mark Daly well out of position, but wins the ball. Plays it infield to Paul O'Connor. Castleblayney buzzing, throwing it around very well, but that one into space. That'll be picked up over there by Kieran Feely, one of the Truagh midfielders, 20 years old. Plays it up into the corner, looking for Martin Owens. Knocked away from the Truagh man, and Castleblayney, the little touches that really don't allow a team to settle, and Declan Lochman now right back on his own end line, helping with the defence, and Castleblayney, they carry it out of defence, out over the 45. A little ball across, it looked to be mishit, but it found its way perfectly to Mark Daly, and he brings Paul O'Connor, who is coming down the left wing, into the attack. They're on the 45. Paul O'Connor tries to jink past his marker, Adrian Sherry, and he plays the ball across to Peter Duffy in space, and Duffy really in too much space, lofts it in high, but that is out to the left and wide. And certainly if Truagh are going to contain the Castleblayney threat, Declan, they wouldn't need to be leaving Peter Duffy in that amount of space.
No, Blaney have pulled a lot of men behind the ball, and they're leaving a one-on-one situation with Peter Duffy and Kieran Tavey up front on their own. And Declan Lochman's lined out a wing half forward, but he's pushing right back into the centre back, full back position. They're closing it up, trying to get an early ball in, and Truagh have to watch that.
They certainly are, but they win possession from the kick out with a loose ball, and driving up into the corner. Martin Hanratty gets a hand to it, but he doesn't hold on to it. Truagh driving forward again. Oh, and it looked to be a high challenge there on the Truagh man. It was a high elbow there, and that's a free in to Truagh. And that's about 20 plus metres out, about 22, 23 metres out. And Gary Meehan, that's well within his range. He can get through off the mark here now in the Senior Championship final. Almost 7 minutes played in the first half. Gary opting to kick from the hands. A point at this stage would help settle whatever nerves through her suffering, because a first county final has to be a nervous occasion for all concerned. And Gary Meehan kicking well. That's a point for through and a point for Gary Meehan. And that will be a good confidence booster, Declan, to Gary himself, who is their top scorer.
Well, that'll settle them, because they have come forward twice there and nothing came of it, and that's a good score. And you know, you'll see Truagh's pedigree now, maybe that'll give them a bit of a lift.
That should give them a bit of a lift. Declan Flanagan, of course, creating his own little bit of history today too. Declan playing in playing in senior championship finals now in 4 different decades. He played in his first final in the late 70s, played in finals in the 80s, in the 90s, answered the call last year, and of course obviously the first year of the new century, Declan back in the county final. Truagh driving, Castleblayney driving forward. Ray McArdle, nice little pick-up. Gets it into Edwin Murphy to Paul O'Connor and plays the ball across to Mark Daly in space, and Truagh really didn't pick up Daly, and Daly should have done better with that. And again, Declan, we make the point that Truagh are not watching the extra man from Castleblayney coming through.
No, Blaney's half-back line is pushing forward all the time. Dermot Duffy, who we talked about at the start, lined out cornerback, but he's actually playing a wing half-back, and he's moving up, pushing up. So is Dermot McArdle, and you know, they're creating extra men and nobody's following them.
Nobody following them. Mark Daly certainly in space there, but Castleblayney wide of the mark on that one, and a good chance for them to extend their lead. But Daly's finish not good, and Pat McEnany over there talking to the linesman on this side, and he is now having a quick word with Declan Lochman. It was more or less just a little a word in passing, something that the linesman drew his attention to, and we're ready with the kick out again. And Paul O'Connor wins that one almost unimpeded. Plenty of freedom, challenged there by Gary Meehan, but he gets the pass away, and it's Dermot Duffy now buzzing in attack, and they play it across the centre to Mark Daly again. Mark Daly into Ray McArdle. McArdle takes a shot, but that's into the true keeper's hands. Damien McKenna, his first touch from play, fisted well out to his corner, to his cornerback Adrian Sherry. And Truagh playing their way out of defence now. Constructive football, and the ball hammered down the left wing, but over across for that one, Emmett Brennan, very experienced player. He has 8 senior championship medals, and he wins the free out just inside Castleblayney's own 65. Brennan will take it himself. He won the Senior Player of the Year in Monaghan the year before last year in 1998. A great servant of the Castleblayney club. Declan Lochman wins it from the free, holds it up, gives it then to Mark Daly, and Daly plays it in to Ray McArdle, who has been involved in quite a lot of what Castleblayney have been doing in the early stages. McArdle gives it to Aidan Tavy, and Tavy just nonchalantly clips it over the bar for Castleblayney's 3rd point. And really, Declan, Truagh they're not closing Castleblayney down as they need to, even at this stage. That was a very, very simple score for Aidan Tavy to take.
You know, Declan Lochman's getting a lot of freedom around there, and everything revolves around him. Mark Daly on the 40 seems to be available all the time in space, and it's going to be very hard for Truagh if they don't pick them up.
Because they're certainly making life difficult for themselves. There's 2 men with 2 free shots and nothing coming off them, and Castleblayney win it again out in the middle of the field. Paul O'Connor, the workhorse out there, and it's driven forward again, and that ball broken down, and Truagh really have to go in hard for these. They win the free out. Certainly Castleblayney, they're chasing everything. Very hungry team, and that one played up the centre. A little nudge there by Portage Trainer, but he got away with it. But who's across to collect it? Emmett Brennan. Almost play anywhere attitude. And Castleblayney build from the back again. It's with Martin Hanratty. Hanratty down to Peter Duffy, wins it out in front of Paddy Kelly, and gets the ball away to Aidan Tavy again. Tavy trying to work his way in from the left wing. He's in the central position, rides the tackle, gives it back to Peter Duffy. Duffy trying to make a better angle for himself. He takes a shot. That one falls into the hands of Damien McKenna. The oldest player on the Truagh team at 32, clears his ball out well, back now into the goals, and Truagh build. It's with their midfielder Kieran Feely, and Feely delivering the long ball into the attack. That looks better from Truagh, but Martin Owens Martin holds it up, he ships the tackle, he gets away from one Castleblayney man, from two, throws it up, and it's with the Colin Kelly, the centre half forward, and Pádraig Traynor gets his first touch, but the ball knocked away from him. Although Pat McEnany gives the free out, the ball knocked away there from Pádraig Traynor, but it was Martin Owens down on that one, but giving away the free, touched the ball on the ground, and it's a free out for the Castleblayney men. A promising attack, however, by Truagh, although they just lacked that little final bit of penetration, Declan.
They did, yes. They're actually, when they're coming through the middle, Pádraig Traynor showed well, but he seems to be holding the arm there, and I don't know if he's going to be a threat, if he's not going all 100% out for it.
Well, there was always a doubt about that. Pádraig, of course, he suffered a broken bone in his arm in the semi-final victory over Ahabog, and Paul O'Connor giving the ball away, but then tackling hard to get it back, and shipping a bit of a challenge there from Brendan McKenna. Pat McEnany giving the free to Castleblayney. Declan Lockman moving forward. The referee has called him forward to take it from further up because there was a second challenge on Paul O'Connor after he won it back, and Lockman drives it in, punts it forward for Peter Duffy, wins it out in front, taking the long way round, tries to get round the full back challenges, Duffy on the ground, free to Castleblayney. It's a ploy that will cost Truagh very dearly, getting the free ball in like that, easy ball in like that to Peter Duffy, because no one better with his speed off the mark over a short distance. Duffy can be very deadly close in like that, and it's another free for Castleblayney, a free for Kieran Tavey, and it's a point for Castleblayney. Kieran Tavey from the free, and that puts Castleblayney 4 points to 1 up, and we have played 13 minutes of the first half of the Bank of Ireland, or the ACC Bank Senior Football Championship. Truagh versus the holders, Castleblayney seeking their 35th Senior Football Championship title. Truagh in their first ever senior final. Coverage today brought to you by McCahey's Gala Maxall Service Station on the Clonus Road in Monaghan, Monaghan Road in Clonus rather. That's two mix-ups inside a minute. Truagh driving forward, Adrian Sherry, the cornerback, getting it in there, looking for Mark Coonahan, looking for Martin Owens. It doesn't get through to him, and Castleblayney tidied up. Declan Lockman coming back again to make the extra man, and he plays it across into the middle to Ryan Tracy. Tracy out to Dermot McArdle, to Dermot Duffy, to Paul O'Connor's pass forward. When that pass out, not all that running all that through, and it's Noel Clerkin into Gary Meehan, and Gary Meehan there eludes what was a fairly direct challenge by Dermot Duffy, and it's Noel Clerkin on the left foot. He hoists it, but it looks to be, it's just out off the tip of Declan Flanagan's right hand post and wide. Truagh working hard at their game, but finding progress a little hard, and Pat McEnany, he's going to speak to Dermot Duffy for that attempted challenge on Gary Meehan. Certainly there was intent in the challenge, and Pat McEnany doing well to spot that, and that's a yellow card for Dermot Duffy, so certainly he is on a warning. But Truagh seem to be rising to the challenge at the moment, but what they need more than anything is scores. They trail by 3, Castleblayney 4, Truagh 1. Castleblayney winning the kick out. Declan Lockman again, the man who collects the loose ball and drives it forward. Mark Daly picking it up just outside the 20-metre line, turning inside, he takes a shot, and that's well blocked by the Truagh men. And that's played out now to Noel Clerkin. Noel Clerkin being confronted by Dermot Duffy, but he throws the ball forward, but really it wasn't the proper pass, and in came Ray McArdle. Gary Meehan rather taking that one well, but Gary coming out of it, and then the clearance out over the line, a line ball to Castleblayney, when really Truagh needed to be doing something better with that ball, Declan.
Truagh had a nice passage of play there, but they're just not finishing the ball, and you have to be when you're on top, you always get a time in the game when you're on top, you must take your scores. In saying that, there's only a kick of the ball, there's 3 points in it, so if they can keep it going and maybe get a wee bit of the rub of the green, they might get a score shorter. They
might indeed, but Peter Duffy making it difficult for them at the other end, winning it out in front, and again winning the free. This time Donald Skinner committing the Trevor Kelly committing the the foul, and Duffy causing a lot of problems. Anytime he has won the ball, he has won frees, and Castleblayney, they've scored 3 points from those frees of their 4, and it's another one for Kieran Tavi. He's about 35 metres out from the Castleblayney goals, kicking from the hands, and that is an expert at work. Kieran Tavi, and only a little ripple of applause from the Castleblayney crowd, because that's what they expect Kieran Tavi to do. 17 minutes played in the first half. Castleblayney 5 points, Truagh 1. Damien McKenna getting ready for the kick out again. Players well spread out over St. Cheernocks Park. There's no bunching as such. Damien dropping it in midfield. They're up for it. And Truagh win the loose ball. Tackled there when he was on the ground by Paul O'Connor. Free on the Truagh man. And Pat McEnany moves it up. A clash there off the ball between Gary Meehan, is it, and Paul O'Connor? Yes, but Meehan back up. It may have been accidental, but everyone is watching everything. We heard the shout and looked to see Gary Meehan on the ground. Gary's up, he's going to take the free. He opts to take it short into Noel Clerkin. Clerkin hesitates momentarily, tries to get someone else away, and it's Adrian Sherry up in attack, but that one way off the mark and wide. And Truagh really need to be making more of those chances from that distance, Declan.
Certainly do. Adrian Sherry actually is lined out corner back, but he has come out to follow Declan Lockman there, and maybe it might be an idea of bringing an more attack-minded player to pick up Declan Lockman, because definitely he's getting on the ball, but just the finishing product's not coming.
That's what's the crucial thing, finishing, because Castleblayney are ahead by 4. 5 points to 1, and Truagh through pick up the loose ball. Now it's Colin Kelly, the centre half forward. He's making his way into midfield. He ships one challenge, gets the ball away. Adrian Sherry is free, gives it back to Kieran Feely. Kieran Feely to Gary Meehan, and Gary Meehan plays it in, looking for Porrick Trainer, but back in there it's Dermot McArdle tidying up for the Blaney men and getting a good ball out. Aidan Tavi winning that one. Oh, nice little touch by Tavi, and he taps it back to his teammate. Kept it from going out of play and then tapping it back. Another loose ball. Again, Colin Kelly picking that one up into Kieran Feely. Kieran Feely back to Colin Kelly. It's a wee bit too close, and Castleblayney close it down and win it back, and it's Ryan Tracy fisting it over into space to Paul O'Connor on the right, and he sends it down into space to Peter Duffy, soaking up the pressure and then breaking meaningfully. Peter Duffy, he's past Donald Skinner again. He's on the ground. He's back up, gets the pass away to Ray McArdle, back in and gets it out to Kieran Tavi, and Tavi fisting over the bar for the simplest of scores. Kieran Tavi fisting over to put Castleblayney 5 points in front at 6 points to 1, almost 20 minutes into the first half. And really, from the chances they've created, Truagh really should have more than 1 point on the board deck, and that ultimately is what will cost them.
That's what it's all about, putting it over the bar. And in fairness to Blaney, they're getting numbers behind the ball and they're making life very difficult for Truagh when they are going forward. But they had a few chances, but just maybe, you never know, rub of the green could maybe turn shortly, but Truagh are just not getting scores on the board.
Well, they need to make a breakthrough now. We're into the final 10 minutes of the first half of the Bank of Ireland Senior Football Championship in St. Cheernocks Park in Clones. Castleblayney, the reigning champion, they're looking for 3 in a row, and they're ahead by 6 points to 1 at this stage. 6 points to Castleblayney, 1 point to the Truagh men. A stoppage there for a bit of attention to one of the Truagh defenders. And Damien McKenna, he's ready to take the kick out again. Pete McMahon down here in front of us, just in front of the Castleblayney dugout. Man who has had great success at underage level, managing underage teams with Castleblayney. He's now made his debut at senior level last year successfully, and is back in charge again this year. And through it's with Brendan McKenna, the centre half back. Plays it up into the right, but it's off Emmett Brennan there, out over the line. Brennan policing the corner forward, Mark Coonahan, very well. Plays it up into the corner to Porrick Traynor. He steals a march on Martin Hanratty, making his way in along the end line. Comes a little bit out to make an angle for himself. Plays it out to Noel Clerkin, and that's a good point from the Truagh men. That really is the approach they need to adopt, to take Castleblayney on, Declan, and then put away the chance when it comes. But Porrick Traynor, experience really told there.
That's right. That was a great score from Noel Clerkin. You know, ball early into Porrick Traynor. Noel Clerkin coming off his shoulder, bang over the bar. That's what it's all about.
Good score there for the Truagh men. That brings it down 4 points of a lead now for Castleblayney 6, Truagh Gaels 2. That score coming in the 21st minute of the first half.
0307, the Nestor stand is causing an obstruction.
Declan Flanagan with the kick out, but Truagh win the loose ball in midfield and they drive it forward again, looking for Traynor again. He's butting a bit at the moment out in front of Martin Hanratty, and he gets it pass away to Kieran Feely. He really could be lofting it in at this stage. Back out to Porrick Traynor, the pass goes astray. He has to go back to get it, and he gives it out to Gary Meehan. Gary Meehan tries a kick from distance, but that's blocked, and Castleblayney avert the dangers with Declan Lockman holding it up till someone shows. Paul O'Connor shows to his right, fisted out to him, and then O'Connor downfield to Mark Daly, the 40 yards man. But who's coming through? Dermot McArdle was coming through on the run, but it was cut out there by Donald Skinner to Brendan McKenna, and McKenna and a long clearance out. But again, Edwin Murphy there, tracking back, gets it away from Kevin Traynor, and Castleblayney build again. It's with Ray McArdle burrowing his way past three Truagh defenders, and then a little arm pull on him by Noel Clerkin, and that's a free to Castleblayney. And Pat McEnany noting Noel Clerkin's number there for that little infringement. We have 7 minutes remaining in the first half, 7 minutes maybe plus a little bit of injury time. There hasn't been much by way of stoppage time, but certainly Truagh Gaels well in the game, but not just putting away their chances as effectively as the Castleblayney men, who lead by 4 points, 6 points to 2 at this stage. A little bit of attention to one of the Truagh players, and Kieran Tavi takes a chance to have a sip from the water bottle. Tavi, Blaney's top marksman, came into this game with 3 goals and 9 points in the championship, and he's already added to that, and he's now on 3 goals and 13. He has 4 points to his credit today, and he has a chance to extend that from this free about 40 metres out. Oh, that's beautifully struck free. That really is an artist at work, Declan. A beautifully struck free from distance by Kieran Tavi.
It was a great free. You know, it's 7 points to 2. There's about 5-10 minutes left, and Blaney, you know, to have a free taker like that, they can put a ball over from 35, 45 metres out. You know, it's a thorn in any side.
It really is, and Tavi punishing those little indiscretions by the Truagh defence. That point coming in the 24th minute, his 5th of the game. We're with the kick out again, and it's Castleblayney nipping in there to pick up the loose ball. Ray McArdle, Declan Lockman, Dermot McArdle, and then the ball away over to the right, looking for Aidan Tavi. Tavi gets it, gives it to Ryan Tracy on the run, and back to Mark Daly, and Daly making progress down the left side of the attack, turns infield and then takes a shot. It's into the hands of Damien McKenna, but referee Pat McEnany said he overran the ball. Free out from about 35 metres out from the Truagh goals, and that's going to be taken by the full-back Paddy Kelly. The players possibly bunching a little bit too much. They really need to keep it open, and Dermot McArdle there on the run. He read that one perfectly. He was in the space to pick it up, while his opposite number way over on the far side, and he feeds the ball down the left into Kieran Tavi. Takes it in past Paddy Kelly into the corner flag, and then the run in along the end line into the centre. He's making his way towards the goal, fisted across, but over there is Donald Skinner. Tavi ended up on the ground, but he still played the ball across the Truagh goals, and Truagh tried to build from the back. Colin Kelly, Kieran Feely driving forward. He's challenged by Declan Lockman in midfield. No support at all, punts it forward, looking for Mark Coonahan over on the far side, but it eludes him, and Castleblayney tidy it up again. Ball down to Peter Duffy, wins it well, gives it to Paul O'Connor. O'Connor doesn't take it. Duffy still alert enough to get it back, and he plays a good ball in to Kieran Tavi. Tavi, Paul O'Connor shows in support. Tavi opts to go alone, and he kicks another great point from the same distance out. And really, if we had Mark Rooney putting on a virtuoso performance in the minor match, Kieran Tavi has been doing something similar in this one so far, Declan.
Points from 35, 40 metres out kills teams, and that's what Kieran Tavi's doing at the moment. Just Truagh are coming forward, and they're just not winning possession up front, and they're leaving life very difficult for their own backs because it's putting them under the pressure.
And Damien McKenna this time opting for a short kick out to Adrian Sherry, and then the longer delivery, but Dermot Duffy reading that one perfectly on Noel Clerkin and winning the free. Noel Clerkin, one of the younger players on the field. He's only 20 years old. He's a student. He was a member of the county minor, and he was a member of the under-21 team last year in the county under-21 team, but that's taken by Aidan Tavi, and he gives it to Dermot Duffy. Dermot Duffy making a run, takes a shot from distance, but that one out to the right and wide. Maybe a little bit of a late challenge on him, but Pat McEnany. No, Pat McEnany has actually awarded a 45, has he? He has, yes. And Martin McMahon, the linesman over there on the far side, he's coming in to mark the spot for Kieran Tavi, and this too well within Tavi's distance. He has scored 6 points so far. Chance to have his 7th now from the 45, and Castleblayney edging for that little bit further and further away from the Truagh challenge. That one won't make it. In fact, it's short, and Donald Skinner doesn't hold it first time, but Truagh tidy it up and take it away. It's with Brendan McKenna now, centre half back, driving out, and Brendan a long clearance. Martin Owens coming out to try and win that, and it's knocked away from him, and that's out over the line, and that's a line ball for the Truagh men. That was Stephen McGeoch giving that line ball away. It's taken by Porrick Traynor into Martin Owens, back to Porrick Traynor. Traynor trying to taking on the Castleblayney defence, but the referee said no, a little tug there on Traynor's jersey, a free in. Traynor had actually played the ball away to Colin Kelly, but referee Pat McEnany awarded the free. And this one is going to be taken by Noel Clerkin, left-footed kicker. Kicking from the hands. He's about 25 metres out, and that one screws off his boot badly. It's way to the right. It's kept in play. Truagh get it back, but certainly a massed Blaney defence. They have trouble getting it across, but the ball passed in there to a man really closely marked. They're making no progress. They're being forced wider and wider all the time. The shot then, and the little block on that, and Castleblayney, they're there in numbers, and create the loose ball, win it, and then play it out, and that's a short ball out to Aidan Tavi, back helping out his defence. The referee says Tavi touched it on the ground as he was trying to get it up, and that's a free in to the Truagh men. 40 metres out, about 5 metres in from the far sideline. Gary Meehan taking this one. Difficult angle, difficult distance, but Truagh certainly need another score. We're now just 15 seconds short of the half hour here in the first half of the Senior Football Championship, and that one dropping dangerously. It's fisted out wide. Declan Flanagan was off his line. He came for it, a Truagh fist to it, but the referee says no, it wasn't a Truagh fist, it was a Castleblayney fist. That's the second call where the referee has awarded the 45, Declan. Yeah,
well, it seemed to be a 50 all right. It was very unfortunate, just wide of the post. Definitely Truagh need a score before half time to give them a lift coming into the second half.
Castleblayney, are they warming up a substitute? No, they're not. It's merely someone going out to give a drink of water to some of the other players. It's a 45 to Truagh. It's Gary Meehan with the kick. Kicks it well, but it's one in there by Truagh. It didn't make the distance, and is that over the bar? No, that's out to the right and wide. A little punt kick from over there on the right hand side of Declan Flanagan's goals, but just outside Flanagan's left hand post. That one from Noel Clerkin with the right foot, but not having just the accuracy, and still 6 points between the sides. We're just short of a minute now into stoppage time at the end of the first half, a half that was, while by no means exciting in any great way. It was one that saw Castleblayney become that little bit more dominant as the half went on, and Pat McEnany says that's it, it's half time here in the ACC Bank Senior Championship final in Clonus. Castleblayney the holders, they have 8 points. Truagh, the challengers, in their first county final ever, they have 2. And maybe just before we hand back to you in the studio, Fintan, we'll just have a word from Declan Brennan just about that first half performance overall. Declan.
Well, Blaney got numbers behind the ball, and they're making life very difficult from Truagh when they're coming forward. And when they are coming forward, they've just Pip Duffy and Kieran Tavi up front. And you know, with Pip's pace, they're causing major problems. Truagh have got a lot of possession at certain areas of the field, but just the finishing product is not coming.
Pat McEnany's lining them up. Checking the watch, checking with his linesmen, and the second half is underway. Castleblayney winning possession. Paul O'Connor driving forward, and it's Declan Lochman in now, in deep, in winning it, holding it up, taking it, tactically turning, then taking a shot, and that's dropping, and that's the true keeper's ball out of his line. Damien McKenna salvaging the situation, gives it to Brendan McKenna. They clear their lines very effectively to Adrian Sherry, but that's not a good ball out from the corner back. He does well though to get to the rebound, although Castleblayney pick it up. Edwin Murphy, Edwin holds it up, wins the free. Quick free to Peter Duffy coming out of his man, plays it into Ray McArdle running through in space. McArdle turns to have a shot, and that's just outside the right hand post and wide. But those chances really through affording the early chances to Castleblayney when they need to be creating those chances at the other end. They trail by 8 points to 2, 6 points between the sides, and brilliant sunshine still here in Clonus. A very good crowd, mostly concentrated in the Jerry Arthur stand, but quite a good crowd. Before maybe 500 people over on the far side in the Pat McGrain stand. And it's Castleblayney again throwing it about. Aidan Tavi playing a couple of 1-2s there then before taking the shot. A late challenge on him. Peter Duffy in underneath that one, and in there nipping in for the loose ball there, just on almost on the end line was Paul O'Connor. Paul's attempted pass cut out by Truagh, well fielded in there by Dermot McKenna, the Truagh captain, and he gets it away to Pádraig Traynor to bring Dermot McKenna again. Breaking out down the right wing, Todahan, he's been closed down, trying to get a little bit of space. He has a player free to his right, he opts to go it alone, and then he plays it over to his right to Pádraig Traynor. Martin Hanratty trying to get back to him, but it's down the right to Martin Owens. Owens trying to make his way goalwards. He's passed one challenge, but they get back to him, and he plays it back outfield to Noel Clerkin, and Clerkin takes a shot, and that looks like a very good point. And that's a real boost of a point, Declan, for Truagh. That one kicked from distance on a difficult angle by Noel Clerkin.
Great score from Noel Clerkin. You know, they moved the ball early up the field, 40 yards out, magnificent point. You know, that's the start Truagh needed the second half, and maybe that'll make a big difference.
Well, we'll see if it makes a difference. Declan Flanagan will restart play from the kick out, but that a great point there by Noel Clerkin, his second of the game. And it's now 8 points for Blaney, 3 for the Truagh men, and the ball in the middle of the field. It's broken down, but it's a Blaney man who's in there picking up the loose ball and driving out before giving it. Edwin Murphy there giving it to Declan Lochman, but Murphy winning the free, taking it himself, playing it away wide to Paul O'Connor. Paul O'Connor being shadowed by Gary Meehan, but he gets the pass away to Peter Duffy, and Truagh in danger again. The pacey Duffy, he's past his man, he's in the centre, he throws it across, but that was a very timely interception by the Truagh captain Dermot McKenna. He needed to intercept that one because Castleblayney had men free in the centre and the goal was gaping. Adrian Sherry down on that one, challenged by Paul O'Connor, winning the free, but then the ball overplayed, and it's down to Emmett Brennan, the cornerback, wins it, holds on, wins the free, and that's a free out just inside their own 65-metre line. Players bunching a bit on the far side here now. This whole side of the St. Tiernack's Park here down in front of the Jerry Arthur stand, absolutely clear of players, and Truagh win it in the backs, trying to make their way out. Being closed down, but working the ball well. Couple of good passes, and it's in space, and it's Brendan McKenna picking that one up. And McKenna then driving it forward. And really it just did it elude Martin Owens. It didn't. He actually gets the free. It looked as if it had eluded him, but he gets the free about 25 metres out from the Castleblayney goals, and that's quite a bit better play now from Truagh in the early stages of the second half. Noel Clerkin to take the free. Suits a left-footed kicker. It's not nearly as difficult an angle or distance as he scored from a couple of minutes ago in the second minute. A great point. We have 4.5 minutes played, and Clerkin takes that one left-footed, but that one is out to the right and wide, and really Declan Truagh cannot afford to miss chances like that.
No, because they're having a nice passage of play at the moment, and that was a simple enough chance. It should have been taken.
It certainly should have been taken, because it would have narrowed the gap to 4 points. At the moment there's 5 between them. Castleblayney 8, Truagh Gales 3. And Truagh win possession from the kick out. Kieran Feely, he sends Gary Meehan away. Meehan's on a run down the middle. Meehan has a good chance, but that one off his boot, is it? No, that's a good point. It curled in. That's a good point for Truagh by Gary Meehan. And that's the first time we've seen Meehan take possession like that and drive on forward, Declan.
Yeah, that's right. Dermot McKenna, number 7, is the captain of the team, is having an impact in the game around the midfield. A great catch, early ball to Gary Meehan over the bar. This is a great passage from Truagh at the moment.
They certainly need to capitalise on this. It's a double scores at the moment, 8 points to 4. Truagh mentors out along the line. They need to win possession again. The ball broken down. Hacked away though by a Castleblayney man. Paul O'Connor chasing that one. He gets it. Brendan McKenna getting back to him. He gets it into Ryan Tracy on the run. Tracy takes a shot, and that's well blocked by the team captain Dermot McKenna. But back in there is Ray McGardle. McKenna gets a hand in, knocks it away from McGardle, and that's out over the line. And that's a line ball to Castleblayney. Truagh disagree with that. It seemed to go off McGardle's hand, but the Martin McMahon, the linesman, gives the line ball to the Castleblayney men. Kevin Traynor strongly disagrees, but Paul O'Connor gets ready to take the line ball, drives it forward. Short one to Peter Duffy. Close attention from Donald Skinner. Duffy gets the pass back to Aidan Tavy. Tavy slips, but he gets the ball away. Pressure from the Truagh men, forcing them wide. Ray McGardle, Ryan Tracy chips the challenge from Kieran Feely and sets it up into Paul O'Connor. Paul O'Connor, another little ball forward to Declan Lockman. This time Lockman holds it up, looking for support, showed it twice, gives it back to Paul O'Connor, and O'Connor lofts that one over in off the outside of the post. And Castleblayney working hard for that point, but they needed to work hard because Truagh are pressurising them in defence.
Truagh have got numbers behind the ball, and it's definitely causing problems for Blaney. But in fairness to Truagh, there was a line ball given there, and it was definitely a line ball in their favour, but it was given to Blaney, and really it's a score that shouldn't have been.
Well, certainly that was the way we saw it up here, that it looked as if it was a line ball for Truagh, but the decision went the other way. And another little instant, and Pat McEnany is throwing up the ball on the 20-metre line between one player from either side. It looks like Mark Daly and Donald Skinner. Skinner gets a hand to it, but it's the Blaney man who comes down with it. Plays it back out to Aidan Tavy. Tavy's shot at goal is blocked by Brendan McKenna, gets it back and gets another shot, and that's across the Truagh goals, and that's out wide. And certainly Truagh putting on that little bit more pressure now in defence in the early minutes of the second half. We have 7.5 minutes played in the second half of the ACC Bank Senior Football Championship Final. Castleblayney the holders 9 points, Truagh Gales 4. Coverage coming to you from St Cheernocks Park, courtesy of McGahey's Gala Maxall Filling Station on the Monaghan Road in Clonus, and it's between Truagh and Blaney. Truagh in possession at the moment. They win it from the kick out. It's with Brendan McKenna. Brendan gets a little space for himself and drives another ball into the attack. It's down. It's Martin Owens. Martin takes it on the run. He takes the shot. Oh, that's over the bar. Flanagan was off his line. Owens did everything right. It didn't just drop quick enough.
Great score. He tried to chip the goalkeeper. He was very unlucky. Really, Brendan McKenna's picking up a lot of loose ball there, and really great passage of play from Truagh. They're unfortunate just to give away that score earlier, but really at the moment, if they can capitalise on their possession and put the ball over the bar, they can really threaten this Blaney team.
They're certainly threatening them at the moment, because that was a lovely ball in from Brendan McKenna, in over the backs and forwards. Owens read it perfectly. Flanagan off his line, as Declan said, tried to chip the keeper, just didn't dip quick enough over the bar. The kick out broken down by the Truagh men, but in there Edwin Murphy in for the tough one, winning it, fouled in the process, winning the free. And it's now that Castleblayney's experience will be brought to tell, because they will not want to surrender the initiative. But they've been put under pressure by Truagh, and Donald Skinner are hacking that ball out over the line, but in the process he seems to have injured himself. Has had a problem with knee injury, and certainly would be a blow to Truagh's hopes, because he was the man delegated with looking after Peter Duffy. Still on the ground, Pat McEnany over to check if he's okay. The first aid people over there to see that everything is all right. And quite a few players taking a chance now to get a little drink of water, because it is very warm out there on St Tiernock's Park today, and certainly energy levels would drop very, very quickly, Declan, because the heat can have that kind of an effect.
The heat, and also the wide open spaces at Clonus, which is something different to any other playing pitch in the county, you know, and teams wouldn't be used to that kind of space level. The heat is really gathering up, and at this stage in the game, you know, fitness levels would want to be at the highest, you know, to have an impact on the game.
Certainly would. Donald Skinner is still on the ground. That's over a minute of stoppage time there at that stage, and the Castleblayney backroom team of Dominic Corrigan, Phil Gunnar Brady and Jerry Fitzpatrick, all selectors, along with Pete McMahon. They're having a little conference there along the line, because they do see that Truagh are beginning to come more and more into this game, and certainly they will be taking remedial action if that is necessary. The free over there on the far side taken, it's with Ray McArdle. He plays it across to Aidan Tavy to Dermot Duffy. Duffy trying to work his way through into a shooting position. Duffy takes a shot, and that's over the bar, and that's a good point from Dermot Duffy. Took the free initially. Couple of players handling. Duffy came through, and it's back to double scores. 10 for Castleblayney, 5 for Truagh, and we have 11 minutes on the stopwatch in the second half. Castleblayney warming up a couple of substitutes. Jason Hughes and Pádraig MacDonald been put through their paces, maybe fresh legs at this stage. Brendan McKenna wins the ball again Gary Meehan rather, that time winning the ball again for Truagh, getting the free, taking the free, and plays it across to Mark Coonan, but Coonan doesn't hold on, and Emmett Brennan gets it, but it's hacked out over the line there by a Truagh man. It looked as if it was Kevin Traynor who hacked it out over the line, and that's a line ball to Castleblayney. But really, players cannot afford to mishandle in situations like that, Declan.
You know, the pressure's on at the moment. There comes a time in every game that the game has to be won. At this stage, there's about 15-20 minutes to go. Truagh need to get a couple of more scores to be a threat to Blaney. In fairness to Truagh, they're getting a lot of possession around the middle, and if they can get the ball into young Martin Coonahan, he's causing a threat up front at the moment.
Castleblayney in possession in defence. Emmett Brennan feeding it into Dermot McArdle. Out to Declan Lockman. Lockman back to Stephen McGeough. McGeough to Dermot McArdle, and Castleblayney, they run it at Truagh up the line. Dermot McArdle and Edwin Murphy a 1-2, and McArdle is free, and McArdle is in a shooting position. And is that a point from the wing half back? Yes, it is. That's a good point from Castleblayney, and Castleblayney putting down their marker that they're in no mood to surrender any part of their initiative, Declan.
No, and the last two scores have come from Dermot McArdle and Dermot Duffy, two wing half backs. They're leaving the space up front, they're hitting the ball early, and then taking the return and banging it over the bar. The two wing half forwards are going to have to watch the Blaney half backs pulling up the field.
13 minutes played in the second half, and Castleblayney ahead by 6 points, 11 points for the Blaney men and 5 points for Truagh, and a fairly strong challenge there by Ryan Tracy on Kevin Traynor. Pat McEnany seeing that Ryan Tracy had made his way away from that. Pat McEnany is awarded the free. And the Truagh player is getting a bit of attention. Still the water bottles being passed around. Pádraig Traynor, who was back helping out defence there for a while, he is making his way now upfield. And it was in fact Kevin Traynor who was on the ground. And it's a free to the Truagh men. It'll be taken by team captain Dermot McKenna. Dermot drives it forward, looking for Martin Owens. Owens wins it, but it's knocked away from him. And Blaney win it back. They win the crucial ones like that. Declan Lochman to Paul O'Connor, and then O'Connor a long raking crossfield ball looking for Peter Duffy. Duffy ships the challenge, wins possession, driving forward, fouled by Noel Clerkin, and that's a free to the Castleblayney men. Another free that has been won by Peter Duffy. And the game has died a little bit at the moment. A substitute on the Castleblayney team. Jason Hughes is going in. And we'll see who's coming ashore now in a moment. But this is obviously a slight change in tactics by Castleblayney. Jason Hughes is on, and it looks as if it's Aidan Tavi coming off. That's obviously a tactical switch, Declan.
It's actually Ryan Tracy's coming off. Jason Hughes would have played in the early 90s in midfield for Blaney, and really he's only coming back from an injury element there, and it's just they've lost the grip around the middle of the field, and I think just for the last 10 or 15 minutes they seem to be trying to get a hold of it again, and Jason Hughes could be the man to do it.
Jason Hughes in the game for Castleblayney. We have just 15 minutes of normal time left now in the second half. There have been a couple of stoppages. It's a free to Castleblayney. Kieran Tavi lofting that one over again, almost 40 metres out, and Tavi really putting on a point scoring exhibition today. That's another point for Castleblayney, another point for Kieran Tavi. It's now Castleblayney 12 through 5, and the game slipping that little bit more away from Truagh at the moment. A great start to the second half. They brought it to 8 points to 4. They then had it at 10 points to 5, but it's now 12 points to 5, and Truagh now sending in a substitute. It's their number 18, Damien McRory, is going in for Donald Skinner. It looks like Donald Skinner, the man who was receiving attention there a few minutes ago. We'll check up on that substitution in a moment. It is in fact Trevor Kelly who has come off. A shot from through there into the hands of Declan Lochman, or Declan Flanagan in the Castleblayney goals. Gets a little ball away to Dermot McArdle, and McArdle a pass out there, and Jason Hughes' first touch, and a ball away over to the far side. This tactic by Castleblayney, they can play it around, and then a long crossfield pass, bringing another player into the game, and this time it's Mark Daly, and Daly then sending that one in goalwards, but that one not much danger from that. Through mop it up quite easily and carry it out of defence. It's the captain, Dermot McKenna. Damien McRory's first touch down the wing, looking for Martin Owens. Owens will keep that in play. He's been policed over there on the far side by Stephen McGeough. He's past McGeough. Martin Owens making his way in. Martin Owens takes a shot, and that's a good point from the corner forward. Won the ball well, beat his marker, and cutting in brings it back to double scores at 12 points to 6 in favour of Castleblayney. Twelve points for the Blaney men, 6 for Truagh, and we have just 18 minutes played in the second half. There will be a little bit of stoppage time though in this second half, because there were a couple of stoppages for attention to players, and Truagh sending in another substitute. It's Michael Murphy, in fact, scorer of a great goal at the end of their game against Carrick Macross, and he's in for Kevin Traynor. Castleblayney on the attack. Ray McArdle up the right wing. He's been policed out into the corner, looks for support, a couple of players round him, plays it back outfield. Declan Lochman showing. Lochman plays it in then to Dermot McArdle on the run through. McArdle is pulled down by Gary Meehan, and that's a free in to Truagh, and really probably an unnecessary free to give away at that stage, Declan, because it just offers Kieran Tavi an opportunity to extend Castleblayney's lead.
It's very much in a scoreable position, and really the 6 points in it, this will make it 7. They can't be giving away silly frees like this. They're unfortunate there with Trevor Kelly having to go off through injury, who was having a good game on Pip Duffy there for in the beginning of the second half. This is a scoreable free.
Hit by Aidan Tavi, doesn't go all the way, but Kieran Tavi gets it. He gives it to Paul O'Connor. Paul O'Connor's shot is blocked by Kieran Feely. Feely gets it up again. O'Connor challenges Feely on the ground, free out to the Truagh men. 20 metres out from their own goal is taken short to Brendan McKenna. Brendan McKenna to Michael Murphy, the substitute, back to Brendan McKenna, and then McKenna, the longer ball down into space, but back there it's Ray McArdle tidying up for Castleblayney, gives it to his brother Dermot, and Dermot coming on a run again up the right wing. He scored a point from a move like this earlier on. Dermot McArdle, nice little chip inside, but it didn't run through, and it's in with Brendan McKenna. Dermot McArdle on the ground at the moment, maybe shipped a little knock after getting that ball away, and it's over on the far side with Martin Owens. He deflects it down to the centre half forward, Colin Kelly, but Kelly is fouled, and that's a free to Truagh. Darren McArdle still on the ground to her right. Pat McEnany noting another number, Edwin Murphy's number I think it is, out in front of us just on play, and it's a free to Truagh. Looks as if it's going to be taken by Pádraig Traynor. Had a fairly effective spell earlier, but has gone out of the game in the last few minutes. And Martin McMahon, the linesman there, just going in to take one of the water bottles off the pitch. And Colin Kelly is back up again after a little bit of attention, and Pádraig Traynor ready to take the free, about 55 metres out, and drops that one in around the Castleblayney goal. It breaks loose. A shot from Noel Clerkin there, ricocheted off a Blaney player, but Declan Flanagan collects the ball and clears the danger away, and Castleblayney way out on the left. Clearing it in, Declan Loughman free in the centre, calls for it, gets it and sets it up again. Plays it across to Peter Duffy. Duffy wins it out in front and driving forward again, despite the attentions of the Truagh man, Brendan McKenna. Out into the right corner position, looking for support. Dermot McArdle coming in support, and Dermot lofts it in towards the Truagh goals, but that one dropping, pushing the back there on the Truagh man. That's a free out. Taken quickly, out to Michael Murphy, Adrian Sherry, Dermot McKenna. Played downfield into Colin Kelly, the centre half forward, to Kieran Feely, the midfielder, and then playing it away to the right, looking for Pádraig Traynor. Traynor wins that one well, and Noel Clerkin rather it was, who won that one well and played it across into the centre. And breaking through is Gary Meehan on the 20 metre line, on the 13 metre line. A beautiful goal by Gary Meehan. Took it absolutely beautifully, took on his marker, beat him on his right hand side, and then a little left footed shot, wrong footing everyone including Declan Flanagan. That was a great finish, Declan.
Brilliant goal. In fairness to Truagh, that's the second one within 3 or 4 minutes. We're unlucky to be blocked with the last one, but a great goal just at the right time, 3 points in it. Anything can happen at this stage.
It certainly can, and Castleblayney have introduced another substitute. Pádraig MacDonald is on the field for Castleblayney. We'll see who's coming off in a moment. It looks like it's Aidan Tavi this time. Truagh win possession out in the centre. We have 8 minutes of normal time left. 12 points to the champions, 1-6 to the challengers, and the ball going back in again, and Truagh win it again. Michael Murphy gets it away to Pádraig Traynor. Traynor gives it to Noel Clerkin, and Clerkin takes a shot with his left foot, and that's over the bar for another point for Truagh. Noel Clerkin. Can Truagh come with a late run, Declan, because those two scores certainly are the right platform for it.
The winning lines can be seen ahead. Truagh's coming at the right time. Dermot McKenna, captain, is a credit, having major impact. Noel Clerkin, his boy's been standing up to be counted here. Gary Meehan now needs the last 5 or 10 minutes to really show his pedigree.
Certainly. Words of wisdom there from one who knows. He's been there, knows what it takes, and Truagh to win that first championship, to win the loose ball out in midfield. Pádraig Traynor making space for himself, plays it away over to his right, but that's too strong, and that's out over the line. Line ball to Castleblayney just inside their own 45 metre line. Kevin Traynor shouting to his player that he should have let that ball in. because they do seem to have the advantage there in their isolating. They're playing really with a one-man full forward line, and Michael Murphy has shown that he can finish. A great goal in the semi-final, and through to win it back again. Yes, they do. No, but Castleblayney win it back, and Pádraig MacDonald's on the run. Pádraig MacDonald to Peter Duffy. Danger here for Castleblayney, and Duffy is taken down. He had lost the ball. He was scythed down. Foot up. Penalty to Castleblayney, and really that could be the end of that. It's 12 points to 1-7, 12 points to 10. 24 minutes played in the second half, and a penalty to Castleblayney. The Castleblayney dugout, they're out along the line, as are the Truagh men. It's excitement here in Clonus. Is there a shock on store? One of the biggest shocks in the championship for many years. They couldn't have a better man to take this penalty than Kieran Tavey. Kieran Tavey in front of Damien McKenna. Tavey striking, and it's out. It's ricocheted off the post. Did McKenna get a touch? And that's relief for Truagh. Castleblayney back in the attack. Declan Lockman from Paul O'Connor, and Lockman lofted goalwards, but that's out wide, and that's a let off for the Truagh men, Declan, if there ever was one.
It came off the bottom of the post, a real let off, but in fairness to Truagh, a great passage of play, and they're really putting it up to Blaney at the moment. And in fairness, if they can get the ball down the field at this stage of the game, get another score, it's anybody's game.
It certainly is anybody's game at this stage. Players being asked to stay back off the pitch. The players, that's the substitutes rather. Castleblayney win it. Declan Lockman. This is where the experience will count now, but the pass goes astray, and it's back in there with Sean Traynor. Gets it across to Pádraig Traynor. His instruction was get it in. It's with Brendan McKenna. Pádraig Traynor again down the middle, but that really is a bad ball straight into the hands of Jason Hughes. Gets it to Dermot McArdle rather. Gets it away to Jason Hughes. Hughes back to McArdle. McArdle being closed down. Plays it across to Jason Hughes. Hughes, a 1-2 there now with Ray McArdle. Emmett Brennan back to Dermot McArdle. Castleblayney looking for an opening. Declan Lockman up into the corner looking for Kieran Tavey. Tavey wins that one. He goes to take on Adrian Sherry. Tavey left footed across the two goals. That one, is it going out wide? It's not. Mark Daly underneath that one, doesn't hold it, and Truagh tidy it up again. Get through, living dangerously at the moment, but they need to get the ball down to their forwards. And that ball driven down again, and who's there? Dermot McArdle policing that central area outside the half-back line. He's cut out the last three balls that have gone down there, and Blaney come back and attack. Ray McArdle, Dermot McArdle, Pádraig MacDonald. Haven't seen Pádraig in this game so far. He's taking on Sean Traynor. MacDonald and Traynor. MacDonald making ground. MacDonald on the ground. He gets the pass away to Edwin Murphy, and Edwin Murphy, that fisted over the bar. That's experience by Castleblayney, and that puts 3 between the sides. 13 points to 1 goal and 7. Edwin Murphy. And that's Blaney at their experience best, Declan, with Murphy coming through. He nicked the winning score against Clontibbert in the quarter-final. That could be a vital point as well.
At this time in the game, you know, experience count. Eddie Murphy got a settling point for this last 10 or 15 minutes. Truagh would really have been on top, and really that's a killer for them, because they really were the dominant team in this last 10 or 15 minutes. But the bit of experience, Eddie Murphy through the middle, fisted over the bar. It's a settling score for Blaney at the right time.
Settling score for Castleblayney at the right time. There's 3 points between the sides. 13 points to Castleblayney, 10 points for Clontibbert, 10 points for Truagh rather. I'm back in the minor match now, and Truagh warming up a substitute. In fact, it's Donald Skinner, the number 4. He didn't start. Pádraig Traynor actually coming in for him, and then a rejigging of the Truagh team. Seeing Traynor in attack, and Trevor Kelly back at corner back. But Trevor Kelly has had to go off, so it's still a further rejigged Truagh line out, and Damien McKenna restarts play, and back there Jason Hughes picking up the loose ball and driving it forward for Castleblayney again. Kieran Tavey wins the vital one, driving forward. He's 25 metres out, he's on the 20-metre line. Tavey takes a shot. Is that the insurance point? Yes, that's over the bar. That's another point for Castleblayney. Kieran Tavey, when the chips were down, Castleblayney are responding.
That's 2 good points there in the last couple of minutes. Really, Blaney are coming at the right time. Truagh had a lot of pressure on there, but Blaney seemed to have a wee bit experienced. They're getting the breaks at the moment, and they're finishing their scores.
Finishing their scores, they have 14 points, and Truagh have 10, 4 points between the sides, and there's just 1 minute of normal time remaining. The ball breaks loose, but Castleblayney are more alert to it. Martin Hanratty picking that one up, getting it away to Peter Duffy. Peter, the Castleblayney captain, playing it up, looking for Paul O'Connor, but that's out over the line. Line ball for the Truagh men. And the substitute, the Donald Skinner, are going in for Sean Traynor on the Truagh team, but we'll stay with the play, and it's a free out to Castleblayney about 40 metres out from their own goal, played up the wing to Peter Duffy, but Truagh keep it in play, knocked away from Duffy. Brendan McKenna gets it very close to the line, plays it forward to Pádraig Traynor and Gary Meehan on the 40-metre line. Gary gives it to Colin Kelly driving forward, and it's the captain Dermot McKenna, and Dermot McKenna fires a point over the bar, and that's a good point from Truagh. Dermot McKenna, they're certainly making Castleblayney live on their nerves. 14 points for Castleblayney, 1 goal in 8, 11 for Truagh, but have they time? We're in injury time, there can't be very long left, and Castleblayney sent on 2 substitutes, Derek Sullivan and Adrian Irwin. Fresh legs going in for Dermot McArdle. Is it Dermot McArdle that's coming this side? It is. And Mark Daly. The kick out in midfield. Castleblayney take it. Peter Duffy gets the loose ball and drives forward immediately at speed. He's over the 45. He's been pursued by Dermot McKenna. Loses it, gets it back, and then plays it forward for Ray McArdle racing in, and McArdle fists the ball across the goals, but that one goes out wide. Nobody there to finish it off. It was a good idea from the wing half forward, and Truagh sending in a late substitute also. They're sending in Paul Donoghue for his first taste of championship action, but the kick out is taken, but it's been delayed, and it's Paul Donoghue coming on for. Is it Mark Coonahan who's coming off? It looks like Mark Coonahan. It is in fact Mark Coonahan who's coming off. Last throw of the dice. We're a minute and a half into stoppage time at the end of the ACC Bank Senior Football Championship final, and Castleblayney the champions. They're ahead by 14 points to 1 goal in 8. Truagh win possession. Gary Meehan, he's fouled. Free taken by Brendan McKenna, driving it in. Pádraig Traynor was going for that one. He seemed to be upended. The referee allows play to go on, and Castleblayney win it in at the back. Declan Lockman taking it out of defence now. Castleblayney with players over. Out to Jason Hughes to Paul O'Connor, and it's knocked away from O'Connor, and it's knocked back to Dermot McKenna into Colin Kelly, the centre half forward. Kesner one last score in through. Colin Kelly driving forward. He's into Kieran Feely. Feely is knocked away from him. He got a hand to it, but he only knocked it down into the path of Stephen McGeough, who carries it out of defence for Blaney. Edwin Murphy, Paul O'Connor, and Castleblayney carry it further out. Dermot Duffy to Edwin Murphy again, and Dermot Duffy comes to take the return. Duffy has covered half of St. Cheernocks Park in that one move, and then he plays a nice little ball into Derek Sullivan. Sullivan is in goal side. Sullivan takes a shot, and that's over the bar. And that was danger there for Castleblayney, for Truagh, because Derek Sullivan had stolen in behind, and that really should wrap it up for the Blaney men. 15 points to Truagh's 1 goal in 8, but it was by no means an easy victory, with Truagh really putting it up to them in the second half, although Sullivan might well have had a goal there, Declan.
He had a goal opportunity, all right.
It's all over. Pat McEnany has called time, and Castleblayney have retained their senior football championship, 3 in a row, and a 35th title on a final score.
Sure,
now you can throw it up. Come on, Pip, throw it up now. Yeah. That's me. Bring it. I don't know what it's made for.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Truagh team for a great game, very hard fought, great comeback in the second half, and a great job at for. I always said it was nice to end the millennium with a win. It was great to start the new one with a win. I'd like to thank the boys for all the hard work, dedication, and the opportunity here. Tommy McConaughey, Conor Brady, Jerry Fitch, and all man with a 3 in a row. And I'd like to thank Billy McMahon for a